and welcome to the next episode of Podcast-No-Jutsu. I do apologize for the last episode being cut short, but unforeseen circumstances didn't give us a choice. Now, I believe to start off this topic, we should probably continue where we left off, which was unique. I believe you start talking about nipple or
What the
what was the
hell?
guy's name?
I believe his name is Nipsey Hussle, something like that. I don't even know if that is his real name or if that's like a stage name or what.
Sounds
But
like a stage
apparently
name.
he's dead. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like he would have like proper crazy parents to name him something like Nipsey Hussle, right?
If you come into school saying, "Oh, my name is Nipsey," you'll probably get punched in the face.
Oh my days. Probably would have
Anyways,
been bullied as a kid. I don't know.
anyway, yes. What's the
So yeah,
story with
apparently,
this guy?
apparently this has been an incident that has been creating quite a stir in the news, I guess. Apparently
Well,
this guy, he's a rapper. Like, I don't know much about rap or rap culture or whatever, because I'm not a big follower of the celebrity culture or whatever you call it. But this is actually a story which I've actually found interesting.
hmm,
So this guy, he was actually planning on directing a documentary on a doctor called Dr. Sebai or Sebai. I don't know how his name is pronounced. Apparently, this doctor, he's quite a controversial figure as well. And
oh,
he's a herbalist, and he has claimed to have cured AIDS and cancer in over hundreds of patients over the years. And since he's not like a legally licensed doctor in the United States, he actually had a lawsuit against him in the state of New York, which he actually won convincingly. So his documentary was like mainly covering like
oh,
what actually happened in the lawsuit. And apparently he has had like some high profile clients under him, namely Michael Jackson was apparently under him as well. But there is like no strong evidence to support it, but that's what they say.
well,
Apparently this
sorry, yeah.
apparently this doctor guy is actually from Honduras and he settled in the United States, I believe. I haven't looked into it too much, but it's actually something that caught my attention. Like, there's obviously this big pharma's involved in this as well. So I smell a bit of conspiracy.
Well, but just to clarify, by herbalist, do you mean someone who uses herbs or someone who smokes the herb? Um,
Someone who uses herbs, someone who uses like
okay,
plants.
no, I get you, I just,
I'm
well,
pretty sure he smokes weed from time to time. He actually looks like a stoner.
oh God, right, so, it's a very interesting thing because, if I had a disease and a herbalist approached me, I told them to fuck off because, um, yes, herbs have some, properties. Yes, you can probably use, you know, uh, garlic has like antibacterial properties and shit like that. I could be completely fucking wrong. Just sounds stupid, really. I mean,
But
this is America for you, isn't it? Oh, this guy sells fancy stuff. Great. Actual science, no.
But then again, like, don't you think that herbal medicine, it has something to do with actual science on like how these plants and these herbs they react with the body? Don't you think that it actually has a bit to do with science?
Well,
I believe it's
sure
called
it did.
pseudoscience or whatever.
Pseudoscience
You
is
can't like completely call him a scam artist. If he was like a scam artist, he would have lost his lawsuit.
yes, but
They had like a
telling
major
me,
lawsuit against him.
yeah,
To actually win a lawsuit like that, you need to have something legit going on there.
but here's the thing. That's all great, but wh- how can you how how can you solve a disease such as AIDS or cancer with a couple of herbs? I mean, we have scientists who you know look into like every possibility, finding enzymes in animals which you would never expected. You saying he put some thyme and pepper into your drink and you suddenly get better or some shit? just
It's not actually time and
you know,
pepper. I'm pretty sure that he.
sure it isn't, but it's
I,
still. If that was the case, don't you think all these cancer, all these AIDS, group supporting groups, research facilities would not be like, that's working. We could make that better and sell it. No, no, let's just let this guy sell his herbs. It's
that, that's the other point that I want to get into. Like, since obviously, like, there has been claim that this guy he's actually been curing people, and he obviously has like has hundreds or thousands of patients who's actually claimed that he's actually cured them of HIV or cancer. I don't know if it's completely true. I haven't like looked into it completely, but this is like something that I've heard, and this is something that I've seen of a few articles that I've read in the internet. So I'm not actually sure how believable this is. But since like he has like lots of patients under him who are making these claims, like why don't like the big pharma companies look into it?
when you look into it.
Or why don't like the scientists or the researchers they look into it? Why are they like completely scared of him? Don't you think this has something to do with money, big conspiracy?
I'm sure it does, but then again, you can convince people you help them very easily. The amount of scar, if that was the case, scar martyrs would not be a thing if people, actually believed everything happening. It's like, oh, but going back to Nipsey guy, fair play to him for trying to expose essentially a threat to society, because, okay, yes, he died for it, but, what does that prove? Okay, because consider he was doing this, there was a documentary, that's probably had some attention, and suddenly he dies? That sounds a bit too perfect, if you ask me.
But don't you think that it actually rings a bell? Like if you look at the history, like whenever like someone's started a revolution that actually benefits humanity, let's take for example Martin Luther King, JFK, Malcolm X. Whenever they actually went on a revolution to actually do something that benefits the betterment of humanity, they get killed. Do you think that something odd is actually happening here? And like all of a sudden this Nipsey guy, he starts to work on this documentary and all of a sudden he gets assassinated.
The thing is, back in the day, that sort of thing was very effective.
And also the other thing is that he actually made a claim saying that if he gets killed, who's behind this. He actually made a claim like that before he started working on the documentary. And do you know who else have made claims like this? JFK. He knew something was fishy. Abe Lincoln. He knew that he was going to get killed. Malcolm X. He knew that something fishy was going on.
Yeah, but the thing
Don't you see the connection here? Don't you see the connection here? Do you really think that this is all a big coincidence?
Well, here's the thing. There's two things to say. A, back in the day, killing someone, that was it. There was no worldwide ability to gather, information. Nowadays, something like this happens. If you said it was in the news, you can't escape it. It would make you look very suspicious. So to play devil's advocate, yeah. What if it was the exact opposite? What if someone is trying to frame this doctor boy for whatever because Nipsey made such a grand statement that they can use it against him? They're trying to cover something else up.
Nipsey, he made nothing. He just said that he's going to direct the documentary on what actually happened in the New York Times.
He said, "If I die, you know who's done it."
Oh yeah, that statement. Yeah, he did make that statement. Yeah.
So what if someone who had a grudge against the doctor and knew that this would hurt him and or help themselves was the one behind it?
You really I mean, like this Dr. Siba guy, he has actually like a lot of followers out there. If you actually look into this guy, do you really think that someone who actually holds a grudge against a doctor would one day wake up and be like, "Ooh, he's gonna make a documentary about Dr. Sebi. I'm going batshit crazy here. I might as well just kill him." Do you really think that is what happened?
Well, you're taking it to the extreme. What I mean is, let's say there's obviously he's a herbologist. You know, he
Herbalist,
sells
herbalist,
herb.
herbalist.
Herbologist, yes. Herbologist, yeah. Um, okay, but think of it this way: you're also a herbologist, right?
I wouldn't
Um,
actually call myself a herbologist. If I
oh, you're
actually
not.
start,
Like, let me finish. I'm
okay,
saying, what if you were? What if you were a herbologist?
hypothetically.
And yes, that's the word. And let's say your company was doing just worse than this other guy, and you thought I could nick all his customers if he was to disappear. You know, if he was to be shown as a fraud. But at the same time, if I show him as a fraud, I would hurt my business. So what if I have him under suspicion for murder? Yes, you know, if you think of it that way, it's
So
very plausible. Yes,
okay,
it's a bit
so
of a stretch.
it is a bit of a
But
big stretch because this Nipsey guy, he was a rapper. There's absolutely no way he's gonna threaten another herbalist business out there because it has nothing to do with
if he was making a
ruining other
documentary
herbalist
that
business.
would, if he was making a documentary that would cause damage to this, what's the herbalist name?
Dr. Sebi, I don't know how his name is pronounced. It's
Okay,
Sebi.
Dr. S. Let's call him Dr.
Okay.
S.
Okay.
Or Herb. Um. Anyway,
So can I actually go? I mean, this is actually something that I've read briefly. Can I actually go into Dr. Sebi's theory on like how the human body succumbs to certain diseases or virus or some or stuff like that?
let's solve the murder of Nipsey first.
Okay, that's gonna be quite hard.
No, what I mean by that is all I want to say is, you know, if you're another herbalist who wants to steal someone's customers and you see someone making a documentary that's going to hurt herbalism, at the same time you find a way to hurt another herbalist that's in your way, that's like the perfect, you know, that's like
So,
a triple, two birds with one stone.
so what are you saying? Are you saying that there is actually a herbalist criminal syndicate going out there committing organized crime against
Well, I'm not
whoever
saying a
wants to
syndicate, I'm just
direct
saying,
a Dr. Sebi documentary?
okay, if you're a herbalist and someone's going to make a documentary that's going to hurt a herbalist and the practice, which is also your practice, you don't want to stop that. So you might want to try something. Okay.
I just work on marketing. I just work on better marketing, I guess. That's what the big pharma companies do, right? Because
We've had it unforeseen circumstances again, but we're able to continue. Now, I believe you were just about to go on a massive rant about pharmaceuticals, weren't you? So I'll let you get on with that.
do you really think that pharmaceutical companies are actually helping people out there? Do you know like the statistics on like how many people are actually hooked on to drugs? Do you even know like the statistics on like how many people they actually rely on drugs and the kind of negative effects that these drugs can actually have on your body?
Are we talking legal or illegal drugs?
I'm talking about legal drugs that people consume on a daily basis.
Well, you know, that's obviously
battle stuff like depression, anxiety, or whatever, because it is like a pretty growing trend which is happening in our modern day. Because if you look back in the days, you barely hear stuff like this, people being hooked on to drugs or anything. But nowadays, like most people, like if you take 10 people, like 5 or 6 people out of those 10 people, they'll be hooked on to some kind of a drugs for depression, anxiety, or like whatever.
Well,
don't you see the big problem here? Don't you see like the pharma companies, they're like making billions out of this? And do you really think that they want to actually improve our health so that we'll stop buying drugs? Do you really think that that's going to be beneficial to these big companies?
Yes, because if people start dying from drug overuse, they'll start losing customers. I mean, you know, you have to specify because depending on the country, the laws of how drugs are maintained is completely different. You know, for example, America, you made a new drug, you're certified, cool, have a commercial on Fox News, you know. But in England, you know, a reporter got in trouble for mentioning an alternative medicine thing because you're not allowed to. The only medical things you're allowed to take is something a doctor prescribes. You don't get to choose what you think's better for you, unless we're talking like ibuprofen or paracetamol or
I'm talking about psychologists prescribing drugs to actual patients that consult them. That's what I'm on about.
But a lot of them.
Why do you think like these big medical? Why do you think that like these big pharma companies have medical reps? Medical reps are like basically salespersons who go out there and market their new drugs to the doctors directly.
Again,
and obviously, like when these doctors when they sell these big pharma companies drugs, they get a cut as well. They get like a small commission as well. That's what I heard. I keep hearing it, so there's got to be some truth behind it. I'm not actually trashing any doctors out there. Doctors are brilliant people. Massive respect to all the doctors out there, but it is what it is. It is a reality, and it is something that we have to accept. So,
well, not necessarily, because once again, it depends on where you're talking about. Because there's massive laws. If a drug, if you're taking a drug for anxiety or a drug for some sort of
depression.
Or what's the other ones that are like a major, people who have schizophrenia and stuff. They the amount of just you have to write if there's a negative effect, you have to write it. If you don't write an effect that a drug can have, you can get in serious legal problems. So at the end of the day, it's a choice of the consumer what drug they receive.
You're seriously talking about legal problems. Do you really think that anyone can even touch these big pharma companies? Basically, they
start causing death.
System made. They're billionaires. Did you think that they have the law in their pockets?
No, they probably got a lot of lenient, but they cannot sell something that's detrimental.
Yeah, obviously something that is not 100% detrimental. They cannot include they cannot include like cyanide components in some of their medicines and just sell it off to the market and start killing people, because obviously that's going to be bad for business. They're obviously selling a business which has long-term detrimental bad effects on your health.
Yeah, but here's the thing: a lot of these drugs, if you don't take them, you suffer the same effects. I mean, schizophrenia, that's a big one for people getting addicted to the drug, because they can't function without it half the time.
I agree with you 100%.
Sleeping pills, yes, you get addicted and you can't, probably don't have a healthy sleeping cycle, but otherwise, you never, recharge your brain. You'll eventually, start getting, side effects anyway. It's basically, do you want to live normally for the most part and just have to eat these drugs regularly, or do you want to suffer the effects of the illness?
Which brings me to my initial point. Why don't they actually look into these work or research done by people like Dr. Seba and cannabis oil? Cannabis oil is there. Cannabis oil is there's been research done on cannabis oil and how it can help combat schizophrenia without any negative effects. Why are they not looking too much into stuff like that?
Here's the thing: a lot of these
why aren't they looking into that?
Well, let me finish. A lot of these addictions are not proper addictions. What I mean by that is a drug such as cocaine. You start doing cocaine, your body will start craving it. You get physical manifestation of addiction. Whereas weed, chocolate, things you eat, or just the fact that, people who suffered from these illnesses enjoying the fact that, they can function normally, you get addicted to that feeling. It's not something that you're actually addicted to, but it's something you cannot stop. And looking into research of herbalists, that's just stupid, really.
What do you mean that's stupid? Why is that stupid? There's literally human trials being conducted on humans. God knows what kind of a drugs they're ingesting into their body. So what is the harm in like looking into a few research from a few herbalists, and especially
Well,
like a
as long
controversial
as you know
figure
what's
like
in a
Dr.
plant,
Well, like,
that's
what
it.
is so wrong in looking into his work? What is so wrong?
It's
I actually
simple.
don't get it.
You cannot,
I
if you have a herb, it has specific chemicals in it. If you know the chemicals do, done, research sorted. You don't need to have like extensive, months of, oh, let's try this and this amount. Most of these chemicals were probably tested already, if not all. You know, this is why you have to synthesize a lot of chemicals just to get a cure for anything, really. Or you have to look
but
into animals which seemingly wouldn't expect to have these sort of things.
see the point that you just made now. Look into animals. Why aren't they looking into animals? They're like pretty keen on
They
like
are. They found
they say
cure for certain
they say
cancers in
they
bats.
say they say they are, but when you look into it, are they really, or are they just
They
trying to fool us?
tell.
Are they?
The research is being done.
They say the research is being done, but what is the proof? Do you actually see like any physical evidence out there supporting that the research is being done? Because the only research that I see being done is like they're like
Yes, research papers.
pumping up like these
Never
big
heard of that.
things into the market. I've heard of it, but I've never physically seen anything like it. The only research that is being done is
What
that
is that?
they're actually pumping like these big drugs into the market, and they're like marketing the hell out of these drugs, and they're making people take these drugs, which is known to have long detrimental effects on their health.
So do the diseases. So do the mental illnesses.
Which brings me back to my initial point. Why don't they look into alternatives like cannabis oil or like some sort of a herbal medicine? I'm not an expert in this area, so I cannot like further elaborate on like how this herbal thingy can actually help you or whatever. But why don't they actually look into it? Because it's actually naturally occurring plants which Mother Nature has provided for us. So, and cannabis oil research has been done on cannabis oil. It has zero side effects on you. So why not? Why not look into something like that?
It doesn't have zero side effects. Everything has a side effect. It's like saying, "Oh, weed's good for you," but until you're the age of 18 and your brain stops developing, it ruins your brain. It can cause damage if you're too young to take it. Cannabis oil comes from that. This side effects to everything. You have to look at the bad side and the good side and decide, is this worth the damage to have a normal life?
But they're not asking you to like, literally chuck down a whole bottle of cannabis oil. There are like limits as to like.
They don't ask you to take a whole packet of antidepressants.
They say that you have to take like 1 or 2 drops per day. So I don't actually
take 1 or 2 tablets. What's the difference?
Because everyone wants a quick fix nowadays. That's why. Because things like cannabis oil and herbalist medicine, it takes time to cure you. Everyone wants a quick fix.
I remember when I took a painkiller, my pain disappeared instantly.
The thing with quick fix is that it can have long-term detrimental effects on your health. It is a fact.
So you're saying just because it's natural, it's better?
Yep.
Okay, fine. Why don't you go eat a kilo of apple seeds? It's natural.
I don't
do it.
Okay. I don't have a kilo of apple here. If you buy me a kilo of apple, I'll definitely do that.
Not a kilo of apples, a kilo of apple seeds.
Yeah, buy me one.
Guess what they contain? Cyanide. Guess what cyanide does? Kills you, and it's natural. Okay. Talking of natural things, why don't you eat a whole pufferfish?
I'm not saying you have to go out there and eat stuff which are actually poisonous to you. Obviously, there are natural stuff out there which are poisonous. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that, because obviously there are fruits which can be detrimental to you, which can be poisonous to you, and there are mushrooms which are poisonous, which are or like blah 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 whatever. I'm not saying that you have to go out there and eat the poisonous stuff. I'm just saying that why not try the stuff which are actually good for you? That's what I'm doing.
What makes you think it hasn't been tried? What makes you think that people maybe there's something in it, let's try it? And a lot of the research they do proves that it's mostly bollocks.
Let me ask you one thing. Like before, like this Western medicine and like these big pharma companies came about, like how do you think like the people back in the days, like before modernization came, like how do you think they actually survived, and why do you think that they had like a bigger life expectancy back then?
What? Don't be fucking ridiculous. Cholera used to kill people. Cholera now gives you the shit and you're fine.
I'm not talking about. Let's just forget about cholera and black plague and all that. I'm talking about like this
let's
big.
forget about the diseases that we solved. Yes.
Dynasties, like how did the doctors in these big dynasties? What did they do? They did not have like paracetamols or anything. They did not have like big pharma companies helping them out. So what did they actually rely on? Natural herbs.
But they also didn't have the possibility to refine them to such an extent. Eating a root that has pain relieving things, if you're near it, is better than inventing the whole process to turn into a pill that doesn't rot.
But still did it work though? And back in the days, like you don't hear like people saying that, oh, I have cancer. Whereas nowadays, like almost everyone.
They died. They didn't know what cancer was. Do you know what?
Okay.
You're telling me primitive people who used herbalists knew what cancer was straight away.
Okay, but they didn't know cancer was. Okay, fair point. Let's just backtrack to like 50 years ago. Okay.
They used leeches. They stuck leeches in you to heal you because they thought blood was bad, and the less blood you have, the healthier you are. You tell me to trust the scientific knowledge of people who make you
know what cancer was, right?
Bags.
They knew what cancer was. It wasn't as rampant as how it is rampant now. What is the reason behind it? What is exactly the reason behind it? People, we actually started relying on artificial food, processed packaged food. We actually started relying on drugs, and heck, even the treatment for cancer, radiation therapy and chemotherapy. You can actually get cancer from that treatment. What the hell? What the hell? And do you know like how much money
radiography? How can you argue against fucking radiographs?
I'm not talking about radio. I'm talking about radiotherapy. It's actually
this is the thing.
They actually use radiation. And do you know what these radiation cause? Cancer.
That's what it actually does.
Killing
kills cancer cells. If it's concentrated into an area which only contains cancer cells, which is what radio treatment does. It radiates the cells to kill them off so they don't spread further.
Yeah, exactly. But what are the side effects of using radioactive treatment? That's all I'm asking you. Is there not a possibility of actually developing cancer from that treatment? That is all I'm asking. There has been legit cases like where the radiotherapy treatment, it supposedly killed off the cancer cells, but as a direct result of that treatment, people have developed cancer. Like,
you don't have to take the treatment.
Yeah, they don't have treatment, but is there any other alternative available? I mean, like there are like certain people who have taken the alternative route, such as cannabis oil and everything, and there has been cases where they've said that it's actually cured them. And also people who have been diagnosed with cancer and who've actually chosen not to do the radiotherapy treatment. They've actually changed their lifestyle. They've gone from like consuming like these processed packaged foods or whatever, and they've like started eating clean, eating organic food, and obviously it has like started having like a pretty positive change in their life as well. So why don't like people actually look into stuff like that? Why not? What's the harm in it? But why is there not research being done on it? That's the only thing I'm asking. That is the only thing I'm asking. Because why? Big pharma companies, food companies, they're all gonna go out of business. They all put poison in their drugs, in the food, trying to poison it.
Are you gonna tell me you don't like the taste of chocolate?
I freaking love it. That's exactly what they're doing. They're like,
oh no, they make tasty things which I enjoy. How dare they? They must be banished to the nether realm.
They're making us addicted to these food items.
No, they're not. There's nothing addictive in those items. It's a compulsory addiction that you get yourself into because you enjoy it and you want to experience it again. So you have it again. Then you experience it in the rush. So you have more.
McDonald's is healthy. Are you out there saying that McDonald's is healthy for you?
How did you get that from what I said? I said where you get addicted to enjoyable things is the fact that you enjoy it, you crave it. It's a mental addiction. You know, you don't get the shakes. You don't get, you know, you don't stop eating it.
What I'm saying is that a healthy alternative is always available, and nobody is actually taking that route. What do you think the reason is?
It's bollocks.
But how many is actually available in the market? And if it is actually available in the market, it is freaking.
Food-wise, I have to agree, but a lot of the time it tastes different, and you know, for example, you know, milk. I love milk, but some people drink soya milk, which they say is the same. It's not. It's actually, you know, it's healthier for a group of people who are not lactose intolerant, but it's different. You know, if you want to taste milk, you have to drink milk. If you want to taste chocolate, you eat chocolate. You get addicted to it. That's because you're enjoying it. That's your fault. You know, why would you you know continuously eat something you enjoy? If you can't blame the company for making something you enjoy, it's like it's stupid. It's stupid.
Instead of using processed sugar, they can actually add something else which is healthiher. And it's just
making caramel.
It's no way this is happening. There is no proper government regulations happening, and these companies, they say that everything is safe, everything is 100% safe. But you know when things become safe, when you actually stop consuming this kind of shit, that's when you actually become healthy, and that's actually when you become immune to these diseases which are going rampant out there nowadays. Like rampant, like it's like a big explosion of these diseases which is happening out there. Just like this is like a epidemic or pandemic or like whatever is the correct terminology for it. That's actually what is happening there. Like 50 years ago, like if you very rarely you used to hear stuff like that, and very rarely people used to get diagnosed with stuff like cancer, etc. But nowadays it's becoming a common occurrence. Like, what is going on? What is going on? What is the one thing that has actually changed in 50 years? Processed food.
Information. You are exposed to information. You are flooded with information, if you want it or not. So you're going to hear about these cases more, not because they're happening more, which probably are, but because.
Do you really think that back in the days the hospital statistics was an information? And like whenever people felt ill, they never used to go to hospitals. Like, why is it like nowadays there is a more increase? Why is there like a more increase in numbers nowadays?
They don't feel well because they want to, you know, be healthy. They don't want to have diseases. So when they feel unwell, they go to a doctor. They get checked out. They get prescribed a nice little pill, and they get back to their life.
Are you like trying to contradict what Hippocrates? He's literally regarded as the father of medicine. Even he went on to claim that the best medicine that you can actually do, that you can actually give for your body, is the food that you consume. Don't you actually think that he was actually trying to convey some kind of a message?
Okay, now once again, tell me the guy's name.
Hippocrates. Hippocrates, Hippocrates, I don't know. Just Google father of medicine.
I'm just making sure I heard you. I'm just making sure I heard you correctly, right? Because now here's the important thing why I asked you. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly that you mentioned him. Because you know you do realize when he died, when he was born.
When he died when he was born.
Do you know when he died or when he was born?
He was died when he was born?
Do you know when he died or when he was born?
He died on 370 BC. He was 90 years of age.
Okay, so
this happened in ancient Greece.
Okay, so 370 years before Christ, which we are now 2019. So he died 2,389 years ago.
That actually shows like there is something clearly wrong here. That happened
yes, he didn't have
like 3,000 years before. Let me finish. That happened like 3,000 years before, and with the technology that has been coming up, we should be even way more advanced. We should be living a much more healthier lifestyle. But what is happening? As the years progress and as the technology is progressing, what is the one thing that is deteriorating? Human health. Why is that?
Deteriorating. We live longer than we ever did. We are healthier than we ever. We don't die from basic diseases anymore. At least not in the first countries.
Longer than we did because we don't have like wars going on. I mean, like diseases were back in the days you had like these wars against each other, and you had like these crazy guys swinging their swords and spears and everything. That was the major cause of death, not diseases. Even though diseases were a major cause, I'm not going to say that because they legit did not have anything. But then again, like if you look at like certain civilizations who had like good medical care, you don't see cases like this ever documented in their history. And apparently when the invaders they stumble upon their medical research or whatever, they decided to burn it all away. Like why? What were they so scared of that the world was going to find out? Like what? And even our government, they're hiding something from us. Like what are they so scared of that we're going to find out? Like why are they so scared?
On your conspiracy theories dig so deep, you should get your own little shit for conspiracy theories.
This is a conspiracy theory. Operation Northwoods. Is that a conspiracy theory?
What?
Operation Northwoods. It's basically this. Okay. I'm going like freaking Alex Jones here. Okay, Operation Northwoods. This is actually a proposal made by the CIA to actually kill American people on home soil, to actually promote terrorism on American soil, and just blame it on someone else.
Okay, yes, okay, cool. But what's that got to do? What's that got to do with herbology and medicine?
I'm just wait. Let me fucking finish. I'm just stating this example because she told me that it's all a conspiracy theory. Are like all the conspiracy theories out there wrong? No. Are there actually proven conspiracy theories happening? Yes. So what makes you think that this herbalist thing is also a big conspiracy? Like, why not? Like these big pharma companies, they're like making billions out there at the expense of poisoning other human beings. And you don't see the CEOs of these big pharma companies take these kind of drugs. So don't you see that there's something strange and odd going on out there?
You're saying all rich people aren't getting the same diseases. Is that your problem?
I'm not saying rich people are, and obviously rich people are, but when you look into it, like are all the rich people getting these kind of diseases? Are all the rich people getting these kind of diseases? Especially rich people who are into these big pharma companies and all that. Really? Do we think that it's actually happening out there? Or is it just the people who are actually drugs? They're going to live for 900 years. Or
yes, they're millionaires. They got access to so much more medical care than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, let me ask you this. What is this that they're actually getting and that the normal people cannot get?
What is this? Private care. Do you know how much? The moment something's wrong, you don't go on a waiting list. You don't have to worry about how am I going to pay my bill. For example, you have bad eyesight. You want it fixed. You have to save money up. They go, oh, and you got bad eyesight, laser surgery. Cool, I'm sorted. That's the difference. They want to do something. They got the money to do it.
But then again, do you really think that private medicine is the only thing that is available at their disposal, and they don't have anything special available, like herbal medicine, maybe?
Oh, you're saying all these billionaires with their companies
I'm not saying
herbal tea just to keep healthy.
I'm not saying all of them are drinking herbal tea or whatever, but don't you think that some of them might take this?
Sure,
don't you think that there's a possibility that some of them might take it? And all these greedy cycles, they want to live like 90 years. And the people who are actually suffering are the middle class people who are actually working their ass off to provide for their family. And they end up dead.
Here's the thing. You talking about that, that's the fact. Okay. Have you ever heard of you know what? Okay, I'm going to start from the beginning. You know what multivitamins are, right?
I've heard of it, but yeah, please do elaborate on what it is.
multivitamins, tablets that have like a lot of vitamins in them, right? Which I'm mentioning because it's a, would you say, have you ever heard that like the common, cure for common cold is like just eating a lot of vitamin C products like lemons and stuff?
I've heard of it.
Now, it's a lot of people would say that's common knowledge. A lot of people would eat vitamin tablets to get healthier. Now, this is something microvitamins. Like, a lot of people believe that if you just eat vitamins, you'll be fine. Now, there's a big problem with that. With how do I put this? That belief, and that is the fact that it's bollocks for the most part. People believe that just because you're eating a lot of vitamins, that makes you healthy. No, as they're called microvitamins, the words in it, micro, you need tiny amounts. Now that sounds fine, okay. There was once a doctor in America, very, very, he was like basically like a celebrity doctor.
I don't believe they're celebrity doctors.
But let me finish, because
they're all like these big supporters of these big pharma companies. They're the ones who are marketing these products out there, trying to poison us.
But anyway, his whole thing was he believed you could cure anything with vitamins, including cancer. Natural way, just eat a lot of, vitamins. All cool. He died of cancer. The very thing he said he cure vitamins would solve. And the thing is, a lot of people believed him because, it's not medicine, it's just vitamins, it's healthy. No, it's not. The human body can be such a delicate thing. Anything can throw it off. Do you know how much care it takes to put something that's safe?
Then again, let me ask you this. Why don't animals get cancer?
They do.
Like, why don't they get cancer as much as humans do?
Because they can't tell you, oh, I've got cancer, I've got pain in my eye, or they're just not around radiation as much as we are. We're constantly, everyone's using a phone, which, okay, it's not a lot, but it's about that radiation. Also, sunlight. They have lower chance of skin cancer because a lot of animals have either scales or fur that protects them.
Then everyone living in India should have cancer.
Look, I don't want to make jokes about this. The difference.
It's not on a daily basis. And that is scorching.
You do know what melanin is, right?
Mm-hmm. So now you're blaming. So now you're blaming it on melanin. I'm just saying. I'm just saying there is a big conspiracy going out there. Right? Cannot even possibly imagine like the kind of schemes that they're coming up with. That's how big this rabbit hole is. No, I can't. Because if this is what if this is what they're doing, like imagine like the kind of shit they are doing behind closed doors. Who knows like what kind of diabolical plan they're coming up with? God knows. That's the problem. Like nobody has proof. And what do you think about these elite meetings? Wait. Let me just ask you one simple thing. This Bilderberg meeting that happens every year. Why do you think that it's completely shut down to the public? Like all the world leaders, everyone who attempts it, like no media, no camera phones, no mobile phones. Like nobody's actually allowed to enter their secret meeting place and actually allowed to record like what they're saying. Like what do you think that actually happens in these Bilderberg meetings? Like, what do you think? What do you think that they're doing so secretive? And why do you think that the government leaders from these big countries, they actually go to these meetings? Like they don't have anything to do with the Bilderbergs, yet they do go. Like what is happening there? What is happening there? Please do explain.
How do I stop? So, because people meet up just because they're in a certain position.
What is the evidence to support this?
Okay,
There is
let's say you host a party where all the world leaders attend, right?
Because they're like completely secretive. They're not going
Listen. If you were to host a party with all the leaders, right? All the world leaders are attending, right?
Be on Instagram all day long, baby.
Well, that's stupid. Because
that's stupid.
Pinpointing a location where a single explosive device would cause immense amount of damage to the world.
Did you know that this meeting actually took place in 2013 in Watford? I mean, obviously the people, they know the location, but it's like heavily guarded by police officers. Nobody's allowed, no journalists, no major media news corporations. Nobody's actually allowed to cover like what actually takes place in these meetings. Don't you actually find it a bit hard?
No.
Wow.
Just if you have a building with so many world leaders, you're going to do anything and everything to make sure there's no danger.
Why does this happen every year and nobody's actually allowed to cover it? Why is that? Like, what exactly are they planning behind?
Nobody's allowed to cover it. You're killing me. You're giving me cancer.
See, this is exactly the problem.
No, it's not.
I'm stating the facts here.
To understand, if there's so many powerful people meeting, you do not want to provide any sort of danger. You know how?
Then how come people is actually happening? Why don't they actually do it without the knowledge of the common people, in complete secrecy, or whatever satanical shit that they do in the secret meetings or whatever? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's completely diabolical, and it has nothing to do with the good of humanity.
This is the public doesn't necessarily have to know. In a country that elected leader, in a country that elected leader,
we're supposed to be leaders.
Country. What they say goes because people vote for that. You cannot. Oh, I voted for this, but I don't like the fact they're not showing everything. I don't trust him. So what? It's okay. Certain countries, are different. Certain countries which don't have as much of democracy, Russia or North Korea, or China probably. But all the other countries
out there were suppressing information from the public.
But here's the thing: it don't matter. That person has been chosen to represent your country.
Into it. There is something diabolical going on out there, and God knows.
You have no proof of anything, and you spout in theories that hold nothing. And because the theories hold nothing, there's no way to disprove them because they make no sense. This is why the word, I'm missing the word. The guilt. No, you are the person that has to prove this is happening. It's not my job to disprove you if there's no evidence of what you're saying.
If I have a team behind me, I don't mind going out there investigating what is actually going on. Like, I'm all alone. I don't have a team. Like, what is if I end up investigating these guys, I'm gonna end up dead. They'll probably make it look like an accident or a suicide. That's exactly what is gonna happen. So if I had a legit team behind me who wouldn't stab me in the back, I would definitely be out there doing investigation. But you know what is actually the one thing that is crazy about this world that we are living? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit.
That's why
nobody gives a shit. There is massive corruption going on there. Nobody gives a bollocks.
Okay, here's the thing. Do you know how many conspiracy theorists ended up trying to prove what they were actually saying, but they had no proof, so they make excuses upon excuses? I mean, if you got no proof, you got no argument. That's the case.
Then what makes you so certain that this Dr. Sebi guy, his herbal medicine, it never cured HIV or cancer? Like, do you have any evidence to support that claim? Because he obviously has patients under him who supports his claim. Do you have any evidence to
Let me ask you
disprove it
this.
that he never actually cured HIV or cancer?
Is there any
You
proof?
don't either.
Is there
You don't
any-
either. So your point being,
No, it's not on me to disprove it. Once again, is there any actual proof proving it cured, or is it just him saying it did and people, agreeing? Is there
there are actually legit people out there who has been under him, and patients he's treated like nobody's died so far.
Once
So
again,
I don't know.
is there
I don't know.
anything- has there been a scientific test to prove this, or has it just him and other people saying it? If I paid you
That's what I'm
500
saying.
quid,
He even had
cancer,
in the state of New York where he went up against like these big shot lawyers, and he actually won that case. Like if he didn't have like any proof, you really think that he would have actually won that case? In the state of New York, like literally the whole state of New York, they charged a case against him. Like without any proof, you really think that he's gonna get away with it? Don't you?
Yeah.
Don't you really smell something fishy going on out here?
Yeah, money.
Finally, we're making progress.
He probably paid off.
Oh, he paid. Okay, all right. Okay,
That just
was barely making. The guy who was barely making ends meet. He paid off the entire state of New York court. Wow, that's a wonderful theory.
You just have to pay off the right people.
He-
Did the court have a jury?
so he was paying the court money. That's a wonderful theory.
Did the court have a jury?
I gotta look into that. Wait, let me just see.
You do realize what a jury is, right?
But then again, do you know, like as per laws, the judge, he is the one who holds complete authority. It doesn't matter like what the jury thinks. The jury,
Why are you on now? Jury says that
the civil law. It was a civil. So I don't believe there was a jury.
so there's even less people to pay off.
Wow, I literally have nothing else to say to that. So you're legit saying that he paid them off. So imagine like what the big pharma companies are out there paying off everyone. If he can do it, why can't the big pharma companies do it? At that time, he was barely making ends meet, and we have like these big pharma companies who are making billions and billions annually. So imagine like how many people they're paying. I bet they're paying off these big volumes like prime ministers and presidents and so forth. I guess that's what's actually happening there. Which further proves my claim.
The difference is, pharma companies would not want to have to pay people off. Let's say they get a loss on the medications are working. That's what. Don't fucking laugh and listen, because okay, let's say they found this this like for example this anxiety medication actually causes more anxiety, gets sued. They pay everyone off, big company sorted, right? No, it's a big company. They got an image to keep. The stocks are gonna go down. They're gonna start losing money.
Do you know that this thing called the stock market? It's like the biggest, dirtiest game that is out there.
Yeah.
It has anything to do with market price and all that shit. They're completely manipulating everything in the stock game. It's a dirty business.
You think, they manipulate everything with all the other powerful people who want to do it. So all these rich people have decided that this person's going to make money. What are you on? No.
Do you think that most companies which were actually listed in the stock market during the 2008 financial recession, why do you think that they actually ended up being more richer because of the recession? What do you think happened there?
Good business sense. If everyone else is losing money, that's a golden opportunity to make money.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that in order to make money, it doesn't matter like how many people you ruin as long as you make money, right? Am I being correct here?
If you're greedy, yeah. How do you think? So in your mind, no one wants to hurt anyone for money. Everyone plays by the rules that they set. No, you want money.
You cannot expect a 100% perfect I'm not saying that because we are human beings. There's no way we can achieve perfection. That's just impossible. But then again, can the regulations and can the system be made better? Hell yeah. It can be made way better than what we currently have. It can be made way more better than what we have, and it can make like millions and millions of people's lives out there much better as well. But we ain't doing that, and that is my issue.
So you're claiming that you are 100% sure this system isn't the best system that is up to date. You're telling me
it's the most corrupt system that is there.
So you're telling me, without actually showing us a way to improve the system, your point is mute.
Dude, what is happening to the people who are actually doing shit about it? Either they die under mysterious circumstances, or some sort of a weird accident happens, or they suicide.
Oh yeah, all of them. Yes. Everyone dies when they mention politics.
This Dr. Sebi thing, do you know why this became such a big controversial thing? There were other holistic doctors who claimed the same thing as him. You know what happened to them? They all ended up being dead. Coincidence? I don't think so. Something big is actually happening out there. Something big. Much bigger than you imagine. They're plotting something diabolical against humanity.
Yes, you're 100% correct in your speculations. You're speculating.
Correct. Oh, so that was all speculation. So the fact that the doctors who actually died, that's all speculation, right? Okay, all right, fair enough.
No, it's speculation that they died because of a reason involving, unless you got on tape people saying that's what happened.
Don't you find it a bit odd? Like everyone who's actually into herbalist medicine, they've like started dying all of a sudden, and that too under mysterious circumstances. Don't you find it a bit odd?
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, here's the question. How do we get from a rapper who got killed because he was making a documentary about herbalism to herbalism dying? You went completely the opposite way there.
I just said that this is actually an issue which is related to Dr. Sebi. I never said that this had anything to do with the documentary. I don't believe that he was actually covering deaths of other holistic or herbalist doctors. I never made that claim. You're the one who's making this up. I never said that it never had anything to do with the documentary. I just said that this is actually an event which has been happening. So, don't you find it a bit odd?
No.
You don't? Okay. So everything with reality is as it seems. Is everything that the government says to us, it's the absolute truth. There is like no conspiracy involved whatsoever. All right, fair enough. I don't have anything else to speak to that.
You're putting words in my mouth because you got no argument. You're making it just to make your argument sound plausible.
Okay, if that's what you... I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Sake. I think on that we should probably start closing this up because it's becoming a round robin problem. We're not making any progress.
I really enjoyed this podcast.
I feel like I got some sort of brain tumor just talking to you, so it's all good. I apologize to anyone who had to listen to this absolute shit show. Put your opinions in the comments. I would like to know what you think and who you agree with.
Obviously, everyone's going to agree with you because everyone is brainwashed.
And that's what happens. Emoji if you agree with Nick.
Somebody likes the crazy guy because I'm the crazy guy here. So obviously, everybody's going to go batshit crazy on me. So I'm expecting that. Pour all the hatred on me. Go on.
CD. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Any closing statement you want to say before we close the statement?
Everybody's on steroids.
I'm joking. On that bombshell. I'm joking. Anyway, everyone, have a good day and goodbye.
We will